What we're going to do for you right now is called a soapbox. We have a special guest who's going to come out and tell some stories, and then we're going to use those stories as jumping off points for some improvised scenes. So without further ado, if you would welcome to the stage, please, from WDET's Culture City Radio, please welcome Mr. Travis Wright.
Kind of like I'm on a bar stool because that seems to be the natural environment to tell stories in my life. And so the first story that I have for you, we have to rewind back some years now. I think it was about 10 years ago, maybe even before that, 2002. I'm at home, I'm living with my parents, Wayne State University sophomore, girlfriend, friends at colleges and universities abroad, feeling lonely and left out on a Friday night. Actually, not just this Friday night, I'm in a funk. Generally, I'm down. And my girlfriend comes in from Michigan State University, and so my girlfriend comes in from Michigan State University, and she finds me there in my parents' living room, thumbed out, head down. I want to go out, but I don't really want to see people. And so she convinces me finally that, maybe we could go get a coffee. And it's like going to be, 10:30, 11 o'clock or something like that. It's getting late. So I've been in the house. I decide, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's go out. Let's see some people. Let's breathe some air. Let's go get a coffee. We go to the Starbucks in Birmingham. At that point, it's a different location than it is now, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we walk in, and in front of me, I see this figure in a black suit, black shoes, about 4'7", mostly bald, but with some red kind of Jew-fro-y follicles. And I know right away, this is Jackie Mason. And yeah, my hero, Jackie Mason. One of the few people who prefer Caddyshack 2 over Caddyshack 1 Jackie Mason. And I just read earlier in the week, because we get the Jewish news at my parents' house, and on the cover, of course, was Jackie Mason, and I read the article about him. Jackie Mason, before going into comedy, before going into theater, actually went to rabbinical school. I found this to be fascinating. So he's in front of me, and I say, "Hey, Rabbi Mason." And he turns around, and he looks at me, then he looks past me, and he looks at my wife. He turns right back around. I say, "Jackie Mason, you're a rabbi. Jackie Mason, what's up, man?" And he turns back around, and he goes, "What kind of Nazi is spreading these lies about Jackie Mason in Detroit, Michigan?" And then he looks at my wife, who's, she's Jewish, definitely more Mediterranean, I guess you could say stereotypically Jewish-looking than I, often gets confused for being Italian, Sicilian. So he looks at me and he goes, basically, he calls me Hitler, and he calls my wife Mussolini's daughter, and he starts berating me in the middle of a Starbucks at like 11 o'clock at night for spreading these vast lies about him. And then he offers to buy me a coffee, and he's very, very thrilled actually that someone A, might recognize him, and B, might recommend, I shit you not, a good corned beef sandwich. I can do both, I can oblige. So Jackie Mason, he isn't alone. He's with this guy named Armando. Armando's about 35 years younger than Jackie Mason. He's a rather debonair fellow, slick back hair, very Miami, I guess stereotypically. He's like a tan dude, could be anywhere. But, Armando is staying at the Holiday Inn Express. Jackie Mason is staying at the Townsend. He's tired. Armando's the one getting the coffee. Anyways, and Jackie Mason, Armando never speaks, by the way. So Jackie Mason says, what are you guys doing tonight? And we say, oh, we might go check out this midnight movie. The movie, real quick, Ed Burns and Robert De Niro. It's called 15 Minutes. It's only worthwhile because it marks the beginning of the end of Robert De Niro's career. But it was playing at midnight at the Birmingham Inn. And so Jackie Mason totally says, without asking, like, Armando is going to accompany you guys to the movie, too. So I'm like in this funk, or earlier, I was in this like epic 22-year-old funk, and now here I am in the Starbucks at 11:30 at night, shooting the shit with Jackie Mason. I'm calling him a rabbi, which is true. He's calling me a Nazi, which is not true. And now we're with Armando, and we're going to go see like probably the worst movie of Robert De Niro's career. We don't know that yet, but we're going to witness this moment in film history with Armando, who slips out about halfway through the movie. Like, he has better sense than we do in cinema. He's like, what the fuck am I watching? He gets out of there, and this is where the story gets interesting. So we leave the movie, and I'm, my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, She's amazing. This is why I married her. I'm totally out of my funk. I'm happy, I'm caffeinated, I saw a childhood hero, and now we're heading back home. My friend Joey's a bar mitzvah DJ. In fact, at this time, he was one of like the top 3 most requested bar mitzvah MCs and DJs in all of Oakland County. So, living energy zone, Joey Marcus. He had the Geocities and everything. So Joey calls me on my Nokia 5160 with the lime green case, and I answer. It's super late at night, and he goes, "Hey Trav, those guys are going through our neighborhood again, and they're shooting out the windows of cars again." Now, this had been going on in my neighborhood for quite some time. Overnight, who knows who was taking a BB gun, going through my neighborhood, shooting out the windows of cars. Now, they got Rob's car. Who's Rob? Well, he's my other friend, who's a break dancer. We used to go to like Tonic Tuesdays in Pontiac back in the 90s, on the hip-hop night with DJ Shortcut. And so Rob would go to these bar mitzvahs and like try to teach kids how to like up rock and windmill and spin on their back and shit. And Joey would help him up and give him a job on the weekend, throw him some loot. And so he's like, "Man, they shot my mom's car, they shot Rob's car. You might want to check your car." I live right behind Joey. There's a creek, Rock Creek Drive, Southfield, Evergreen, 12 and 14 mile, that block. We pull into the neighborhood. As I'm on the phone, I'm like, "No, actually, I just met Jackie Mason. I'm with Melanie. We're about to pull home. I'll check it out. I'm up." So we pull into the neighborhood, and slow creeping is a navy blue Jeep Cherokee, the old cool boxy kind, and it has its lights off. Joey, I gotta go. Hang up the phone. I start following these dudes, and with the quickness, all of a sudden this kid is cutting across a lawn. Again, this is like 2002, so kind of 90s style. You can picture it with like a baggy gray hoodie, a baggy khaki cargo pants. He has that white college hat that all the preppy kids had that probably said South Carolina Cox on it. And he's jetting across this front lawn, right, with a BB gun in his hand, like an airsoft kind of pistol thing in his hand. Jumps into the Jeep Cherokee, and the chase is on. I call immediately the Beverly Hills Police, because we're talking like 13 in Southfield. Beverly Hills Police Station is right there. They're like, "No, I'm sorry, you're in Southfield. You have to call the Southfield Police Station." But you guys are right there. They're like, "Yeah, isn't that funny?" So I call the Southfield Police Station, and it's like a Friday, Saturday night in Southfield. I don't know, shit's getting real in the field, as we say. And it's a particularly real night in the field, and they don't have any cops to help anybody. And so, and my wife is my witness, the dispatcher says, "Is there any chance, sir, that you can follow them while we get officers in route?" And this is like every boy's dream ever. Now, I had recently totaled my Cavalier Z24 and had it rebuilt and painted cherry red, the whole thing with ground effects. This was the hottest V4 built in 1990. And I'm chasing these kids, and it's obvious, right, that this is my neighborhood, right? This is like my hood, so I know all these weird and windy streets way better than they do, and they can't get out of my hood. They finally do. I'm on their ass. They're in a V8 Cherokee, and we find ourselves on 13 Mile Road. And I'm on dispatch the whole time, white knuckling, right, radio down, can't listen to shit. Melanie's freaking out, can't listen to her. I'm in my moment. This is what I've been waiting for. And so we're on a 13 Mile Road. I went to Groves High School on 13 Mile Road, and I can tell you that there is no better feeling than driving past your high school that you graduated from like 24 months ago at 115 miles an hour. Chasing some preppy ass dude that you know went to Brother Rice. And so the cops, they're on the phone. I'm driving, and they're like, "Travis Wright?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Cherry red Z24?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then like F-15 jets on the other side. These patrol cars just come flying past. If any of you are familiar with the 13-mile dip between Southfield and Evergreen Road, right? So they come flying, and I swear they grab some air, and it's awesome. And I slow down, and they're like, "We got it from here, Mr. Wright." And I'm like, "Cool." So they come back up, and it's Lobster Road, and there was this bank there, and there's this navy blue Jeep Cherokee, like 10 cop cars surrounding it, police everywhere, lights everywhere, and they call me again. They're like, "Mr. Wright, we have them obviously, but we have to have you circle back and identify and make sure that this is who you saw in the car that you saw. And so I circle by, right, like real slow, like they know who it is. I fucking got him. And I keep telling myself, like I got him, like I got him. And then I call Joey, and he's still unloading his car. He's like, hey bro, everything fine? What's up with your car? Everything cool? I'm like, hey Joey, I got him.
So it was a decaf latte, skim milk.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. Decaf latte, skim milk. There's a dash of cinnamon on top of that. You specifically wanted latte art with a leaf. Autumn leaf. What? I'm sorry.
Good.
Okay. Autumn leaf, and then you wanted 2 coffee seeds?
Sure.
2 coffee seeds? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Stir optional, you said?
Cut to 1 hour later.
I'm sorry? You see Bin Laden? No. I have been polite for the past hour plus. But you've been, no, not yet, Terry. He doesn't deserve it, Terry. You've been subtly calling me a terrorist and a dictator.
Possible.
Yes, you did. Listen, I've been here for 2 hours. 1 hour listening to your order and 1 hour repeating it back. And I've heard a lot of terrorist names in that time. Okay?
Yep.
Gaddafi? What? It's not even relevant anymore. Listen, do you want a coffee or did you get pleasure out of this?
I just want a cup of coffee. Black.
What? Terry, berate him.
You are a bad person. Your comments, where you're talking with your mouth. Some people don't have mouths to say stuff. So up yours with, I'm going to spell your name wrong on this copy right here. What's your name?
Kandrazinski.
All right. It's C, right? Then it's a K. Then it's a B. 30 minutes later. I'm just going to write the
All right,
word
Terry, he gets the point. Point is, you're a dick, all right? And then we're obligated to give you this coffee, but I want you to leave here knowing you're a dick.
I'm not thirsty, thank you.
Terry! I can't stand for this anymore, all right? I'm sick of these customers pushing us around.
It's this town. It's Birmingham. What? We need to relocate.
What? Just lift up the Starbucks and move somewhere else like we've always talked about?
That's our dream, isn't it?
All right.
Right.
Where do we go to?
Wait, we have a new customer.
Son of a bitch. What do you want?
I've always wanted to see a Starbucks in Ann Arbor.
Terry, you're thinking it.
It's really nice of you officers to let us go on this ride along.
Yeah, sure. Hey, listen, anytime we hear about middle schoolers wanting to be cops, we're just happy they're not on the drugs,
Yeah. Anything we do to fulfill a dream.
All right. Just to warn you, it's usually pretty boring around here.
Just to warn you, I wore my Matrix jacket.
Alright.
I like to boast, but we're kind of badasses at McDonald Middle.
That's good. Just don't take no swearing in the car, right?
Sorry, we're a couple of bad at McDonald Middle.
Listen, kids, let me be honest with you, alright?
Yeah.
We deal with a lot of grisly shit out here, okay?
You have grizzlies out here?
No, not like bears. No.
They said we couldn't swear. Yeah.
In the back. Up here we can, okay?
Yeah.
When you have a license to kill, you can swear. Come here.
Oh, God. When are people going to learn?
Alright, kids, you want to see the dark part, please?
Yeah.
Is this when you actually need to use the shotgun you stick in the...
Yeah, what? Cat is calico. Cat's calico? Calico cat. Male or female kitty cat? Cat, since it's hot, it's calico cat stuff too. So that's true, cat, that's true.
Oh, would you ask him if his daughter's graduation is today or
Hey, this daughter's graduating. Oh, hold on a sec. We got it.
Here, we're there.
Freeze! Freeze!
I'm gonna shoot the cat!
Freeze! If it cooperates, nobody will leave you in a body bag. Cat, how do you look so goddamn weird? Cat, I need you to jump down to the count of 3, or I will come up there and get you. 1.
Well, if you're gonna go up there and get him, why are you threatening him with a gun?
Because this is the only way I know how to operate. You don't understand when you're out of middle school.
Oh, no. I got an idea. I'll just throw my shotgun at him.
All right. It's like
It's a lot higher than that.
He's good. Look how fast that cat is moving.
Dude!
Cash. What are your demands?
Evil master.
Oh my God, they speak calico.
Meow, 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 meow.
Oh, you speak my language.
Yes, I was born with a sandpaper tongue. Yes.
Here are my demands.
Yes. Continue.
I would like one of those douchebag baseball caps.
Oh.
One that says Jew.
All right. Wait, you speak the sandpaper tongue as well? I thought you guys were just hearing meows this whole time.
I don't care what that cat says, I ain't giving up my jinkos.
What are your other demands, Cat?
I want his Jacob.
Yeah.
No, these are 22 inches, man. Those are hard to find.
Too late. Ow.
It was steroids the whole time.
Yeah, we double as middle school strippers. It's kind of cool.
We're going to have a long talk about that.
It's a lot more sexier than you would think.
I don't want to
But not so much as to make you uncomfortable.
All right. As long as we've got that established.
What? I want to find out what the demands from that
What's
cat.
your third demand, Cat?
A helicopter. What? I want a helicopter.
Hold on.
Hey, that didn't work here. You got a cat over there. He's got a car.
A lot.
Yeah, Cat. All right. Rick, I got that dude to drink from. You can get the helicopter or not?
I'm not roughly. I'm real roughly.
Hey, buddy.
So,
We all got a
God
problem.
love me.
You got, hey.
Whoa. Hey,
Hey.
you hear him? His wife left him.
I heard him, but we also need to help.
Get the fuck.
Yeah,
Get the
he has a
fuck.
little
Do
kindness.
you want to talk to him?
Yes, I do want to talk to him.
Get the fuck.
I haven't got to day.
I'm gonna shoot you for that pun, Cat.
The cat love me and someone who
Oh,
got shut up by some asshole kid. The president.
oh.
Just tell him what you need.
Buddy, when life gives you lemons, all you have to do is
Lemonade.
you can understand the cat.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that we could really take away from the Amish is Rumspringa. Rumspringa makes sense. Why don't we have more Rumspringa in our culture and across cultures? Remember Joey, the bar mitzvah DJ? So Joey and I, the year before our adventure, our car chase adventure, decided to kind of like have our own Rumspringa and do what any young, sensible kids should do, which is, oh, by the way, remember the early 2000s when credit card companies would just send 18-year-olds credit cards ready to activate? I do. I had a collection of them just as I had many names under BMG and Columbia House accounts. It's Travis Wright, Travis R. Wright, R.T. Wright, whatever, right? But all these credit cards, they were actually just all in my name. That was the only difference. So we took all of these credit cards that we're getting from Capital One, and whoever wants to send you, whoever wants to spend the money on a stamp is going to get me to basically activate a credit card. And then I have thousands of dollars in these checks from various agencies that want me to pay student loans or my tuition bills with these student loans. But that's not necessarily how it worked, and I didn't know that. So, you know, they just give you this money and then you can really spend it on whatever you want to spend it on. Like, the bank doesn't know any different. So we took thousands of dollars in credit card debt and in student loan money, and we went to Australia. And we were about 19 years old, I think, at this point. About 19 years old. And way to start your 20s, by the way, saddled before you even really start college, in thousands of dollars of that, like 12 credit hours under your belt. It's like, yeah, all right, we did that. Let's go see the world. So, so we go to Australia, and there's something interesting that is very apparent right away. You know, we've done a little bit of traveling, but shit, nothing like this. You know, and you get there to Australia, that is, and you meet people from all over the world. We didn't even see Australians for like our first 2 days. Everyone's a traveler from a different place around the world, and they're traveling, some of them for a year or more. We met these two guys who worked at basically like waste management. You'll always remember it was two Barneys, and they were both in London, and they worked across the desk from each other. And imagine this, right? You work with these kind of people where you're friends with them kind of like at work, but not really anytime after work. But at work, you're kind of like work homies. Well, Barney and Barney were total work homies. One day, one Barney decided to quit. The other Barney was like, you know what, you're just going to leave me here. And they did the same thing at 40 that Joey and I were doing at 19. We hung out with them for a while. That's besides the point. In Australia, you travel around. You get on a bus, and you do the damn thing with a backpack, very stereotypical, kind of like, you know, upper middle class American rumspringa on credit cards. And another thing that, you know, I'd always learned as a Canadian, native North Bay Ontarian, living here in Southfield for most of my life, is that, you know, when you go abroad, you want to make sure that everybody knows that you're a Canadian, and that Joey, your friend, is an American, and that as a Canadian, you're not responsible for his actions. But Joey has all the charisma in the world. I mean, shit, he's Oakland County's third most popular bar mitzvah DJ. He's a professional charisma. There's a couple things about television, too, that we learned. You know, like shows in Australia get viewed about 7 months after we see them here. So not like I was a big fan, but Joey religiously, I know this for a fact because he's my best friend, watched every single episode of Friends live. He was that guy. He watched Friends and Dawson's Creek and knew everything about those shows inside and out, and was really upset when we found ourselves at a hostel in Australia where everyone was huddled around a TV about the size of these cocktail tables in front of you. We're talking about maybe 100 people from around the world watching the finale of Friends. As Joey, the loudmouth American asshole that he is, keeps just yelling spoilers as we're playing ping pong. And it's horrible, right? It's bad because in every hostel in Australia, there's the house coke dealer. And they're usually really easy to point out because they're the only Nazi in the place. Kind of weird callback. You know, they're stereotypical with the combat boots and the skinhead and everything, and they deal coke out of the back of the hostel. Well, this Nazi was like a huge fan of the show Friends, you know, and he was taking a special issue with Joey. And so, you know, we have all these people that we're traveling around with on a bus, and after several weeks, you kind of, you know, become friends and comrades with these folks. But people are starting to turn on Joey a little bit. And maybe for the first time, I mean, you know, that happens to Joey. He's no stranger to this. But for the first time, I feel like it's kind of also starting to happen to me a little bit, too. Because of my proximity and relationship with Joey. So I start making it like extra known that I'm a Canadian, and also learned really quick that people don't care because Joey's kind of like short, stout, and has this big mouth. And at 19 years old, folks, I'm like pretty much the same size that I am now. And so I'm gonna have to bear the responsibility for whatever comes out of Joey's mouth when this Nazi comes over. He starts giving Joey the business, and he flashes a razor that he has on him, and he's like, I'll fucking cut you if you ruin Friends for all of us. Like, that's what you're gonna be suffering. You're gonna come to Australia and have your adventures mate, or whatever he said, but like, I'm gonna cut you. I'm not gonna maim you or, you know, kill you. Well, I guess it's a maim. I'm gonna cut you. And I was scared. I was really scared. You know, I'd been in a couple scraps for sure, but like, I'd never fought an adult male Nazi. And so I had my hands tucked firmly inside of a Puma zip-up hoodie, and they were shaking, and so that's why I didn't want to bring them out. And like, so like Marty McFly, I look at this Nazi, I go, man, don't you make me take my hands out of this. Because it's like the only thing I could do to try to convince him that it was a good idea also for me not to take my trembling ass hands out of this hoodie. And he backed away, he's like, oh, all right, well, you got his back. But something happened that night that we didn't really understand until the next morning. Also along the routes of Australia, when you're on this bus, you come across really amazing zoos, like, you know, R.I.P. Steve Irwin, he has that zoo. But you come across all these like super shady zoos, like you know, kind of more akin to like the, what is it, the Hamtramck at Disneyland, if you guys have ever been there. It's like, it's kind of fun and majestic, but also creepy and not legit at all. And there's a number of these, and at some point, we were watching these guys getting ready to wrestle an alligator, and they're playing with all of these snakes and lizards and highly dangerous and poisonous things. We realized that the whole conversation had been turned amongst the whole bus, and now everyone at the zoo, like massively anti-American shit. And this is kind of weird because, you know, I'm an American. I worked on a political campaign in 2007 and felt like, you know, I should get my citizenship when this guy runs for president in 2008. So I guess like on paper I am an American, but I'm kind of not trying to be right now because of Joey, but it's like, you know, the shit's gonna go down. And I think that Joey's about to get jumped or something. Everyone's in on it, the zookeepers are in on it. They start bringing all these snakes over, like all these snakes. And they're all coming, like all these Aussies out of the woodwork with all these snakes. And then they're like, oi! Where's the loudmouth American? And all of a sudden, Joey, nowhere to be found. So this is what happens when you're a friend with an American traveling abroad. This big guy, huge, 6'5", maybe 300 pounds, comes up from behind me, full Nelson, but not just the full Nelson, like the full Nelson lift you up off the ground thing. But I feel like a little boy, and he's got me lifted up off the ground. And this other guy comes over, a really old guy. Not that it would have made any difference, but it's kind of weirder. Starts unzipping my pants, and I'm doing my stuff. Like, I don't know why it would be any better if it was a younger guy. I'm a straight guy, but it was kind of worse that it was an older guy. And maybe, I don't know, his wrinkly hands or something. You know, his more supple hands would have been less creepy. And they start shoving snakes down my pants. Like a lot of them. And they're telling me that they're poisonous, and now we're traveling with like loads of people that we've been on a bus with for 6 weeks, and I realized that over the course of the last 24 hours, because of Joey ruining friends for everybody, they've all twisted, and now they hate the Americans, and I'm bearing the weight for Joey's loud ass mouth. And I didn't know it then, but what I would realize later on is about a year later, I saved Joey's ass one day, and it's kind of like a perpetual rhythm. And this is something that happens with best friends in life. And it was in that moment when I finally saw Joey come up front. Where was he? He couldn't find his camera. So there I am, full Nelson, snakes down my pants, and Joey's snapping the picture, which we still have, thankfully, to this day. And the picture is why it's all worthwhile, that you realize sometimes you really sacrifice for your friends, even when you don't want to. That's another story.
You Canadian? Yeah, totes Canadian, right? I mean, just traveling your beautiful country. Great. You backpacking too? Huh? Are you backpacking too? I mean, I have a backpack, so yeah. I mean, so.
Smartass, you're a smartass.
Barney!
What? I'm calling my friend Barney.
Hello.
Barney.
Hey. Hey, Barney. Nice country you have here.
We're not from here.
Yeah.
What?
We're traveling.
Traveling.
Oh, so are you guys Americans?
No.
No.
No, neither am I.
Yeah,
Did you tell by our accent?
Yeah.
What?
Did you tell by our accent?
Swedes.
Sweden.
That's cool.
We speak Swedish.
We worked together at the shipping department at IKEA, and one day we just said, fuck this.
Yeah, so we put ourselves in a box for Bjork and Florgan, and
Got shipped down here.
yeah,
Wow. Somebody assembled us, and here we are.
yeah.
What's that famous phrase you're known for in Sweden?
Björkskin borr är skjutet för chippen getaberskin dimmer.
Which means,
Hello.
oh, awesome.
Our greetings are tedious.
Wow. So, it's a letter-heavy language.
Do you mind if I hang out with you? Because I had a friend here, and it's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you don't spoil the ending of MASH. We haven't gotten that yet.
We haven't seen. We hear it's quite good and popular.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the television show where they're in Vietnam? It's a hospital. And
Pretty sure it's a Korean
No,
one.
it's a
Korean
Korean
one.
I know that.
Yeah, we know that part.
I know nothing about that. Your secret's safe with me. You could never ruin it. Literally, I could never ruin that.
And now we bring you to a very special episode of Incorrect Australian Mash.
Oi!
What?
Hawkeye, what you got in that body?
Hey, walk in here like a kangaroo open around. I'm trying to do surgery. It's Vietnam all around us.
Buckets.
Shriek on the Barbie. This one's dead.
Someone insult this kid's chest, General.
Oh, come on, mate.
Nah.
Hey, want to get a Foster's?
Yeah, back at the swamp.
The swamp.
The swamp.
Is that the name of our bar?
Yeah, of course it is. If you know our show, man.
I do. Very much so.
Sorry about my accent.
It's all right. Mine's slipping too.
Come on.
All right, quick to our favourite bar.
Good day, have a seat.
Oh, hello.
I've got good news.
All right.
It's 1978 and the Vietnam War is over.
What?
Yep, that was my rule.
Why was he dressed as a lady?
Beats me. Come on, let's go to after Australian Mash. Well, this is boring.
Suppose nothing fun happens after the war.
No. Everyone has it.
Well. This isn't the third most popular DJ in Oakland County, specifically for bars and maybe bat mitzvahs.
Yeah. Yes. And moving to breasts.
Gentlemen, please take your turntables. The competition is beginning in 1 minute.
Oh man, I saw this episode like 3 months ago. I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Where's your deck?
Lame.
Gentlemen, the competition is beginning in 30 seconds.
It's gonna be longer than that.
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
The host keeps coming back and spoiling everything.
Seriously, 7.5 seconds. We're gonna start the competition. 3/4. Go.
Let's see yours do that.
Got me there.
Can you make some noise?
Wait.
Dreidel, I'm made it out of clay.
What? Oh man,
That's the bullshit.
this is when Joey's mom comes in and ruins everything.
Are you battling
happened again?
Yeah. Ma'am, I need you to stand aside during
You want to see what's inside my shirt? What?
This is where Maggie kills the host.
Joey, you need to stop this. This is no career.
That's all I wanted. Ma'am, the competition is on. We really need them to continue.
You better get first place, because I won't settle for third. You want to see what's inside?
Not whatsoever. No, not. Not a lot of energy.
Oh man, this goes on
Lots
forever.
of beats.
It's like they've been up for hours, but still need to see some energy. There it comes. Still need to entertain a crowd,
And then, you
guys.
know, Joey ever hosted Rachel?
Oh man, this is when Joey ruins the ending of Friends.
What?
Joey, you never hooked up with Rachel. At all.
Why would he?
I mean, everybody else hooked up, but...
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Idiot's
But
like,
he's Gentlemen, I'm afraid this competition has changed. It is now Friends Spoilers. Go!
He played it with a heart of gold. Marcelo's a monkey. You leave after the second season.
5 points.
Phoebe runs funny.
3 points.
She dates Tom Selleck.
Oh man, this is where Joey brings out the cat.
Sir, I will have no dialogue from you, sir. This is a competition between professionals.
Fuck, how do you hear me?
Ma'am, no assistance.
Brad Pitt shows up and he hates Rachel.
10 points.
Chandler and Courtney Cox.
You don't even know her name?
Monica have a baby.
We'll accept it. 5 points.
And the baby's name is Drake. And he grows up to be a Toronto Raptors basketball player.
6 points.
Ross cheats on Rachel, but it was during a break, so he doesn't think it counts, but to her it counts. They go back and forth for a very long time.
15 points.
Joey experiments with Will Wheaton just once, but he liked it.
5 points.
Got that from the fanfic.
7 points. Sir, I need your answer.
They all moved to the OC?
Minus 2 points.
Hey, welcome to my zoo.
This is it? This is a zoo?
Yeah, I got every animal you could ever want.
That's a chair.
Yep.
Oh, all right. And that's
What you're about to see.
Oh.
You will not see it. Oh,
Hey, Jerry, I gotta feed the chair.
okay. All right. Possum.
That's a
Nope, it's a possum.
that's another
Look at it crawl. Ooh, you know they can't sense light and movement. Whoa, got hit by a car.
Jerry, I gotta run away. Whoa, I gotta
Sing to it. Sing to it. Yeah, caress it. Caress it. Oh, those jaguars.
Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
All right, great. Thanks, BJ. Hey, well, first of all, thanks to everyone for coming out supporting Gilda's Club. Really awesome. Go Comedy in Ferndale, an institution. And I host a show that's trying to be an institution as well in 2015 on 101.9 WDET called Culture City, Fridays at 1 and 8 p.m. on 101.9 WDET. We'll have a fundraiser coming up. You're hearing the number all the time. Thanks again.